Soccer City, welcome in. It's a new episode. John Hayes, Danny Brams. We're live on a Monday evening after what's been loss after loss after loss. It's fun to check in with y'all live tonight. It's especially fun to have my friend Danny Brams here. Cheers to you, Danny, on this Monday evening.
Johnny, how you doing? It's a Monday night. Happy day to you. It is a beautiful Monday night. And the best thing about life, John, the best thing about living this life is that we can't let other people get us down, right? Our happiness, your happiness, everybody that's watching right now, I just want you to know, your happiness lives right here. Your happiness lives right here, and it's your choice. And you don't have to care if Charlotte FC's on an epic losing streak. You don't have to care if Charlotte exited the cup at the round of 32 to their most bitter rival. You don't have to care if we went to New England and played one of the better games of the season but couldn't finish anything and then gave up a bunch of bullshit at the end. You don't have to care about any of that, John. You can sit, you can wear silly hats, and you can drink wine straight out of the bottle, dude, because it's Monday night and your happiness is a choice.
I'm excited to hang out with the Defoes tonight, the tremendous friends of the show. I'm excited to hang out.
You're not touching any of that? You're not touching any of that, Johnny? Come on.
The soccer citizens.
I'm excited too, brother. I'm excited too. I'm excited to be with you. Thank you for welcoming me tonight. It's going to be a fun one. It could be an all-timer tonight. We don't know.
It could. We're excited for people to come and hang out. I say we looked better in every loss compared to a 6-1 win over New York Red Bull, probably Dino.
Yeah.
I don't know what that means, but what I'll say is those are the topics we're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason why, Danny, is because whether it's your opening monologue, right, which I loved, whether it's a first chat comment of the night.
Welcome, Crimson. Thank you for being here.
Whether it's people who want to text in, whether it's people who want to call into the show. Eventually, we're going to have call-ins here. Danny.
Right.
This is a night where we're going to have a conversation about the state of the club. We're going to have a conversation about the losing streak, what's happening. It's been a really bad run of form, and we're going to ask ourselves, like, how bad is it? And
I mean, the title of the episode, if you look at the graphic, the thumbnail says, "What's wrong?"
What's wrong?
It's just a picture of what's wrong. And that's what we're here to try to determine is what is wrong. What's wrong with this team? Because they play the worst teams in the league, and they're horrible. Then they play the best teams in the league, and they're good, but they don't win. And then they play other teams, and they need a red card, and all of a sudden they look like they're amazing when they're going against 10 men. And then they play... they come and play USL side and barely win thanks to a red card. It's what's wrong with this team, man? What's wrong?
Matt Livingston, a soccer citizen.
The coach.
The main issue is our poorly built squad. Our midfield is a disaster. Okay, let's start there. What's wrong with the midfield? I think Ashley Westwood obviously is somebody that should be in the 11. I think he's a lock for the 11.
Of course.
And the other two positions, Pep Biao, for sure. It's that third spot between Jabril Diani, between Brant Bronico, between Luca De La Torre. That's the position that's totally up for
Luca De La Torre?
That's the position up for grabs. So I appreciate Matt Livingston checking in, making a great comment to start the show, because this is a live episode where we're all hanging out, we're all talking about this situation.
Right. Thousands of us, Johnny,
and we're trying to figure out what's next and what's wrong for this club, and we need to start with one topic.
Okay,
and it's the PK at the end of the New England match. I saw you put the graphic up, 1-0 New England Revolution.
I just put it back up again.
That's the match that we're going to talk about specifically to start tonight, because I think, Danny, we're going to debate about whether this is an actual penalty.
I mean, let's just get right into it, Johnny, because there's no time to waste. And for me, this is never a pen. This is absolutely insane. The funniest part, so we watched this play out. New England, the ref blows his whistle. Charlotte players stop playing, and then Fagundes shoots the ball in the back of the net, and New England starts complaining and being like, "Oh, what about our goal? Why didn't you give us advantage? Why didn't you give us the goal?" Well, the only reason the goal went in is because everyone in Charlotte stopped playing at the whistle. So you're not slick, Fagundes. Like, we know what's going on there, but this is never a pen, Johnny. First off, okay, so let's look at it. There's a lot to talk about here because if you're looking right there in the middle of the screen, one of the most dangerous players in this whole play sprints right past Liel Abada first and foremost. And all of a sudden, from this point, New England, with literally seconds to go left in this match, in a 0-0 match, Charlotte desperately trying to hold on to a point on the road. New England has a 4-on-2 here. We've got 4 New England attackers going against Nathan Byrne and Morrison Aubameyang, and that's because Liel Abada is 2 steps behind. So I think Kerwin Vargas probably wouldn't not have let that happen. That's a discussion for later in this episode. For now, we're going to focus on the pen decision. So the ball comes in here. It's a great run. It's just a great pass and go that Abada never reacted to, and all of a sudden New England has a guy running free with a 1-on-none against the keeper here. Wisely cuts it back, but that's just a cutback and a bad pass, really. It's just a poor cutback. New England did everything right except the pass, and they got bailed out by a BS call saying because it went off of Morrison's forearm as he slid to go down to ground to brace himself. As Dean said in the postgame, what's he supposed to do? Put his left hand in his lap there? I don't think so. And I don't understand how this is called the way it is. I hate that New England got into this position with 2 minutes left in the match, or really even a minute and a half. It never should have happened. It never should have been allowed to happen. But the fact that the ref made it even worse and compounded our errors by adding one of his own, giving a horrible penalty, and then VAR made the entire thing 10 times exponentially worse by refusing to tell the guy to go over and look at it again, because it's never a pen, Johnny. It's never, ever, ever a pen.
The only retort that I can come up with is,
give me a retort.
What can you do in that situation? Don't go down the ground.
Okay.
When you go down the ground inside the box, you're taking everything at risk. That's the rule for any defender. Aubameyang is there. Does he have to go down in that situation? Does he have to go to ground? Or can he stay on his feet and potentially continue to play defense? I think you can argue the latter for sure. And I think this referee on the evening was bad. So
yeah,
when this decision comes, Danny, am I surprised? No, it's been the story of the night. That guy, the referee. And what did he do? He ended up rewarding the game-winning goal to New England because Morrison Aubameyang went down in the box, went to ground, unlucky handball, and the match is over. And Carlos Heel, like he always does, just shoves it down Charlotte FC's throat. That's what I would say on the other end of this. And do I think it's a soft call? Yes. But do I think it was consistent with how the referee managed the entire evening? Yes. And I can only imagine what Dean had to say after this match.
He had some things to say. Dean had some things to say. We're going to save the soundbite portion of the show for some things having to do with our erstwhile designated player going on a little bit later. As for this, Dean didn't think it was a penalty. He gave the classic, I didn't get to watch it back, but I think he even knew in the moment it wasn't a pen. I think the issue, what Dean actually said, and I should have clipped this off, I should have, but what he said, he might get fined for this. I'm not even surprised if he would get fined, because he said, he's like, I'm not mad at the ref, I'm mad at VAR. And I think it's time that Pro starts to look a little closer at who's sitting in those VAR booths. That's his direct quote. So, I mean, he may end up getting fined for that. We'll see. I think VAR made a horrible decision at not at least asking the referee to come over and look at it. I understand there's what's clear and obvious. It's funny when it's like, okay, the standard is clear and obvious, and then the first question out of everyone's mouth is, well, what's clear and obvious? Because what's clear and obvious to you is clearly not clear and obvious to me, regardless of who that hypothetical you is. I'm not necessarily saying you specifically, Johnny, but what I am saying is that one man's clear is not another man's obvious, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
That's why we've been part of the movement that is abolish VAR.
Abolish VAR. I'm in. You recruited me to the movement, and I'm an evangelist now.
I think you just sometimes have to go with what the call on the field is. And even in this situation, if it's if it's unlucky, if it's tough, if it's harsh, you deal with it. I think that's the job of the referees, and I think the referees are being put in a really difficult situation in having to deal with the end of the match like that, and having to have always a camera looking over their shoulders. I think it's a really difficult job for these referees. Now, do I think it's an excuse for that? And I think it's by the letter of the law. We could have a debate. Is that a pen? I don't know, but I could see why this referee who had a poor night ultimately came and made that decision. But is VAR good for the game? I'm willing to say that it's made the game, I think, more accessible. I think people understand when oh look, it's going for review. What's this? What does that mean? It slows things down. I think that's better for chatter. I think it's better for discussion. But as far as game flow is concerned, VAR stinks because you want to get it right at the end of the day. But what's the beauty about the game is the flow of it. And you just go with what the referee has decided.
A couple things in reaction to that, because you said some very wise things. I loved it. I loved everything you had to say right there. Totally agree about the flow of the game. One of my biggest things when I'm thinking about why I like soccer, why I would pitch soccer to someone who's not a fan is why they should watch. It's because of flow of the game. It's because of the game keeps moving. You don't have the stoppages. You don't have the TV timeouts. You don't have all that crap. And I think, we're going to learn just how bad those quarter breaks are going to be at the World Cup coming up this year when they do the fake water breaks. The other thing is I'm old. I'm an old man, Johnny. I'm older than certainly most of our audience. I'm older than you. I'm about twice the age of half of our players. So what I can tell you is that I remember a time before VAR, Johnny. I remember when VAR wasn't there. And I remember the outrage and the cry that you would get when something was wrongly ruled offsides, or when a goal was ruled out and it should have stood, or when a goal stood and it was a clear handball and there was nothing that they could do about it, the ref missed it, and things like that. And I remember how horrible that was, and I remember how hard done by you felt there. So I know that there's no easy solution, because it's gonna go bad one way or the other. And I think the goal should be to try to minimize, to have the least amount of harm as possible, because you're not ever going to be able to eliminate harm. And also, I'm so old, John. This is how old I am. This is how fucking old I am. I'm old enough to remember when NFL had no instant replay, then put in instant replay, then got rid of instant replay, and then put it back in the form of a coach's challenges. So the NFL is a sport that we're all familiar with and we've grown up with here in America, and we know, as far as it's certainly analogous as far as being the top domestic league, NFL versus Premier League in England, and the Premier League, what the Premier League does is going to trickle down to all other leagues. So I think that I can think of a time where the NFL knew they needed some form of technology use to make sure that the human mistakes that were obvious didn't live on and become uncorrectable. But they knew that unlimited, unfettered replay that just turned everything into a forensic experiment and started frame by framing every single thing was also a problem. That's why they got rid of it in the 90s. And then they brought it back in the form of the coach's challenge, and sort of the coaches, for all the criticism that I plan to give Dean Smith later in this episode, Johnny, I can tell you this much. Coaches know ball, and coaches know when something is BS, and they have their own VAR rooms working on their behalf back in the locker room, so they know when something was actually wrong, and they don't have to worry about an arbitrary decision by someone else, and they can throw out that flag there and be like, I'm going to go in and say this needs to be looked at, and who cares who's in the VAR booth? At least take a look at it, because I think a second look would have helped in this, would have ended up in the correct call in this situation. So everything that I'm trying to say is, let's institute coaches' challenges to VAR. I think that's a really good idea. And I'm going to throw one other little sidebar, little curveball, little splitter here at you real quick before you react to all the thing I just threw at you. But I also heard a really good proposal this week at Dom's Dive Bar when I was proudly wearing an Arsenal shirt at the Liverpool party, where a good Liverpool fan turned to me and said they were looking at the Benjamin Sesko fake goal that should not have counted but did on VAR. And I was like, VAR sucks. I was talking about abolish VAR. And the guy said, I think VAR is good. They should just not be able to do slow-mo. They should just every replay should be in real speed, so the VAR booth is looking at it the same way the ref did. So if all the replays were in real time, maybe we'd get better results. So those two ideas, coaches' challenges, real-time replays, I throw it to the chat, and I throw it to you, Johnny.
Yeah, I'm glad that you threw it to the chat because it's a good question. I would say coach challenge is a great idea. I think you can give a manager one challenge per half, and you can't carry over. And the reason why you can't carry over is because if both managers carry it over, there'd be 4 challenges in the second half, which feels like a lot.
Then it might get gratuitous.
Yes. So I like the idea of one and done, use it or lose it per every half, and bring that intrigue in. And ideally, managers don't even use it. Ideally, they don't. Or if they do, they use it at the very end of the half and the very end of the match, which is where the drama is, where the stop and start already actually is the extra time, is the injury time, stop and start, end of the first and second half. So that could be interesting. I like your proposition. I like it a lot. What's the chat saying?
The chat is saying VAR double-edged sword. You can't, like Matt Livingston, coach, backed up what Dean said, which is you can't really even trust the people in the booth to do it. Here's a quote from Michael Nifa, who just says he doesn't even care about a VR discussion. He just says the crap referees suck, and until they're held accountable, it won't get better. It's a wrong decision, Johnny, and it cost us on. Let's talk about things. I want to go back to an earlier comment from big friend of the chat, Zach McDonald, hosts. He's the mod of the Charlotte FC Reddit forum, not to blow up his spot, and also runs the best Charlotte FC Discord chat. If you like to chat throughout the week about the team with your fingers on the keyboard and you're missing our Discord, you need to join that. Reach out to me if you're interested. I'll make it happen for you. But like he says, we looked better against New England Revolution than we did against Philly. And then he also said, crazy how different reactions to this match would be if that pen never happened. Because I think we've kind of exhausted the pen discussion. It was wrong call. It cost us the points. Cost us a point. But it was a nice effort, Johnny. It was a good team game. The passing was nice. It was a great defensive effort. New England never looked like scoring. And I have to think, I thought we were going to get a draw out of that one. It's a shame that we lost. And I think a draw would have settled nerves a little bit better instead of continuing the losing streak, which this road trip just turned into a huge disaster overall.
I think the problem was the 0-0 was settled for pretty early.
Yes.
That's what happened in this match. Okay. And I think you're right. I think that's the analysis is spot on. And I think we all settled into this feeling, the players, maybe even the managers, and his coaching staff, that a 0-0 is not the worst thing out of this match. We're already in extra time, and let's see what happens. And here's the breakdown. You can see player ratings here, something that we like to talk about a lot. There's Ashley Westwood. We talked about the midfield. We had that discussion, a really nice rating for Ashley Westwood, who was definitely in the engine room in this match.
One of his better matches of the season, for sure.
A funny reaction to him. A funny reaction he had when Wilfried Zaha and Carlos Heel and the referee were getting into debate and having drama. Westwood was just sitting there stone-faced. That was pretty funny. He played well. And it's really good to see Andrew Privet, Jabril Diani, and also being rated a 7.0, right? That's just on the brink. That could easily be a 6.9. So they're right there living on the edge, those two players. I think those two players are on the fringes of this first 11 for Dean Smith. Wilfried Zaha and Pep Biel not having high ratings, Danny, that's the problem. When you bring this up, and then I'm just giving you my analysis here. It's very easy to see why this game didn't really work out in Charlotte's favor. When Zaha and Pep Biel are not rated highly and don't have an impact on the match, that's a big problem for this team.
Yeah, totally agree. I think Pep's worst match of the season, and it's at an unfortunate time because this was a winnable match. I think if Pep has an average match, we win this thing 2-1 or 2-0 easily. I think New England never would have scored actually without a penalty, so it's extremely unfortunate. As class and quality as Carlos Heel still has, he's not the same Carlos Heel from 2021, 2022. He's not that sort of guy that just
bring up his player card.
Yeah, okay, let's bring it up. Good call. There you go. He's still a great player, but he's not quite the same that he used to be in terms of just a dominant, unstoppable force. And it really bummed me out to see him score that PK and celebrate like he had just won the World Cup. You know, it was extremely unfortunate because he's such a little clown, and I just don't like the dude. So like what can I say? But he was going absolutely. He ripped off his shirt when he scored the PK, and I get it. You're happy you win, and from a New England perspective, they're undefeated. They've won all 5 matches at home. They're 5-0 at home. So I get he was happy to keep that home win streak alive. So there was something in it for them. I'm not gonna say that he shouldn't have celebrated, but taking off your shirt, you know, getting the yellow card, it was almost like he was trolling us. He was like, I'm gonna get a yellow card and I don't care because we just won the match. So I hate that. But as Michael Knifa says, we looked so good in the first half. Faith was restored. I was watching the game on the couch, Johnny, and what I really, really loved was just the passing in the box, the little 1-2s, the way that I think Pep had a bad game overall because he had a big chance wasted. I think that's what killed his rating on SofaScore. He had probably the best chance of the match for Charlotte and shot it right at Matt Turner's gut. Unfortunately, when he had a wide open goal, he could have gone anywhere else. But his passing was pretty exquisite in the box. Wilf, Pep, Idon were all making things work. We were creating chances. I liked the way we were taking it to him for the first 20 minutes on the road. That was refreshing to see, a positive attitude. They couldn't keep it up for the full 90 minutes. But overall, Charlotte was winning, and they were winning, and they were doing the same thing in the second half until an unfortunate outburst from the DP really killed the flow of the game for me. Maybe people can agree, disagree, but I really do think Wilf Zaha cost us this game in many respects. You could call that a hot take, you could call that controversial, but I think if I'm blaming one person for this match result, it's easily Wilfried Zaha.
The DP has a yellow card. His contract runs out in mere weeks at this point with the club. He's 2 for 11 on ground duels. He's 0 for 1 on aerial duels. He doesn't really have a great match, and beside passing the ball decently well, nothing really happens there. Look at that. There's no action in the box at all. I think this would be the question that I would ask. How could you possibly enjoy your football by not going into the box? Like, right. You're Wilfried Zaha, you are the best player on the team, and you don't venture into the opposing team's 18-yard box.
Yeah.
What are you doing? Like, you're not going to be able to make a living out on the wing in MLS. You're going to make a living in like your former teammate did, Christian Benteke. You have to go into the box and you have to score goals.
Yeah.
And once Wilfried Zaha, if he's not going to do that in MLS, if he wants to play in that position, then he's going to have to play for the Ivory Coast.
Yeah. And no shots at all, not even off target. You know, the dribbles were there, 54 touches.
Can we hear him talk about the dribbling?
Wilf loves to talk about the dribbling. You want to hear it right now?
Yes.
Are you having fun out there? You're having the joy of the game?
Yeah, at times, but then at the same time, I don't enjoy being fouled a million times. Then at the 85th minute, the referee says, "Okay, no more touching him." After I've been kicked, pushed, after I've passed the ball, I'm pushed on the floor. Pre-season, we have hour meetings with referees for nothing to change. 3 games, I've got 3 yellow cards. I don't understand. We know what I bring to the game. I'm going to dribble, which brings eyes and everyone enjoys people doing magic on the pitch. But then because I do that, am I not supposed to get any protection? Because
He loves the dribbles. He's going to dribble, Johnny. And that's what apparently people show up to MLS. I didn't realize this. I thought people showed up to see goals, but apparently they were actually there to see dribbles.
One thing I want to make sure that there's context on is when was that press conference?
That's a couple weeks ago. That's just from the archives. That's not right after the New England game. Yeah.
Yes, that's not post-match. So some context there, but I thought it was appropriate to share after having that conversation.
Correct.
That's what's going to happen. You're going to be on the wing and you're going to get fouled, and that's not where you want to live in this league because you're going to get fouled. It's a physical league. So
right.
If you want to, if you want to feel better about your game, maybe move to the central areas.
Right, and we can update it because that's like sort of like his sort of defining quote of the season at this point from a couple weeks ago, and that's why we played that just for some context to get more specific with exactly what happened last night. Let's bring up some highlights because this is the outburst. This is you're an hour into the match. Wilf gets the ball on the wing and he tries to move the ball forward and he commits a foul and he doesn't like the call. He says, "I didn't foul." But you look at the replay, it looks like a foul. You could call it a soft foul, but he did wrap his arm around a guy and push him to the ground. And then it turns into this. And we're watching this, and he's going at it with the New England staff and pointing at their players and getting in their players' face. And I just want you to watch the clock. The foul happened at about 58:25, right? And because this is important, because we're going to hear some sound on this later that relates to this. But look at him. He's getting in Heel's face. He's getting in Rain's face.
One of the things I noticed during this video was, you see this guy in the background in the blue coat?
Yeah.
He's the MLS match director. I was looking at what his badge says. Yep. And it's brilliant. Look at this good look he's got. He's like, "Oh, is something brewing here? Is something brewing here? Look at this."
Yeah, he's like looking in. He's got an eye on it. Yeah.
That's one thing I noticed when this happened, for what it's worth.
I love it. And what I'm at, so what I want to just point out though, let me move it back a second, because what I'm looking at here are multiple chances for Wilfried Zaha to walk away. Okay, walk away.
Let me ask you this question: Why does the New England Revolution manager and his assistant have hands on Wilfried Zaha? That's my question. If you look at this back, it's like, I think what Wilf is saying here is, watch this. Oh, there it is, right there. He comes in. The manager comes in here, grabs him.
Yeah.
Pulls him down. And then so does his assistant.
And that's an
gets
assistant
in there as well. And then he still has hands on him. And Wilfried's saying, "Dude, why are you touching me?
Fair.
Get your hands off me."
I agree.
And get your boss's hands off me too.
I agree, but Johnny, it doesn't, like, you can be right and still lose. You can be in the right and still do the wrong thing. You can be in the right and still suffer the consequences. And what I'm saying is, what do you care more about in life? Here's what matters more: being right or winning. Does it matter to be right or to win? And Wilf Zaha cannot deal with the fact that Wilf Zaha cannot handle the fact that anyone would ever say that he's not right. And he's like, "I'm right. They shouldn't have touched me, and I'm going to bitch about it, and I'm going to get in your face until everybody admits that I was right." And then he does little, "Do you know who I am? What? Hey, it's Danny Brams here. It's Will Zaha. You know who I am?" So that's not cool. And then he's getting in Rain's face. And all of this is about 59:03, 59:05. This is where the referee, you can clearly see, has decided to show Wilfried Zaha a red card. He ends up showing it to him a few seconds later. But I'm looking at 30, 40 seconds here, Johnny, and you can say I'm nitpicking.
Yellow card.
This is Wilf Zaha walks away right here. He doesn't get a yellow card. If you walk away right here and you be the bigger man, you say, "Yes, they're all in the wrong, but it doesn't matter. I'm not going to be the one that gets punished here. I'm walking away." And he pushes the guy, and it doesn't. And it's not even just this, because it continues to go on, Johnny. And it's like, okay, so again, here's another chance, yet another window. He could have walked away. The ref's like, "Get away, get away." He could have walked away and avoided the yellow, but he doesn't. And right there is where the ref said, "Fuck it, I'm giving you a yellow, bro, because you won't listen. You're not being reasonable, Wilfried Zaha. You're not understanding the fact that it's not going the way that you want it to go, and that's just the way that it's going, and you have to deal with it, and you have to walk. Like, be a fucking adult. God damn it, man. Be a professional. Like, guess what, Johnny? There's so many things that happen in the world that I don't want to happen, and I have to fucking deal with it and just adjust and move on." And like Wilfried's, and then he's clapping. Like, at this point, it's 30 seconds later. I'm surprised he doesn't get a second yellow and a red card here. If I'm the referee, I would have given him a red. I would have 100% given a red card here for continued dissent 30 seconds after I gave the yellow card. And I just honestly can't believe it. And then you give these idiots from Southie a chance to do that. They're actually probably from Providence. They're not even fucking from Boston. And they drove up from fucking Providence, and you give them an opportunity to do their little routine. And it's bullshit, man. Like, I'm so fucking sick of this guy who can't be an adult, who can't be a professional, and can't represent our team better. I'm pissed.
Did Dino address the fact that the manager and put his hands on Wilf after?
He did, Johnny. And here's Dino's comments, and then you can react to all of it.
Wilf gets a yellow card for, I didn't even think it was a foul. The referee gave a foul, and then 3 people end up pushing Wilf, and he ends up with a yellow card on the end of it. So understand that if you can. There was not a lot that Wilf could do about it, to be honest. I mean, you know, the foul was given against him, and then, you know, their manager shouting him that it's a yellow card, and then he, as you can see, 4 or 5 of their players, I think he got pushed 3 or 4 times during that moment, and he ends up with a yellow card, which is baffling for me. The head coach wasn't happy with the way that Wilf was meant to have spoke to him, but, you know, just don't get involved with our players then. And, you know, we have enough on our hands dealing with our own players that, you know, getting involved with theirs, so, you know, keep out of that. That's a bit of experience I can pass on to him, to be honest.
Classic D.
But I thought it's important to hear his perspective as we ventured into this discussion, because you had a really nice point of view, and I think you're right. I think my favorite part about your analysis of that whole situation was look at the clock. Right, it took a long time. It was like I think it took a full minute. For it all to play out, and everyone was just hanging out and
3 or 4 chances to walk away easily.
And I do agree that at some point I was like, is there going to be a second yellow that comes out here? So I thought that analysis was spot on, but I also thought that what Dean said was important too. And what I told you before that was how I felt about the confrontation, the physical confrontation on the sideline. Yeah. I just didn't think it was necessary. So I think emotions were high. It's the end of the match. It was a tough 0-0 game, and I'm not gonna. I think everybody gets off with citations. I think.
Yes, I mean, by the way, Fofana did get a yellow. New England did not get out of that situation without a yellow. Their guy got a yellow too. So Wilf has a poor case to make if he's trying to say, why is it always me? Why are they picking on me? It was a double yellow, but it just never should have been anything in the first place. You have the ability, you have the power, you have the agency, you have the freaking calm, cool, and collected sense of the moment to walk away, and it's crazy. And I did wonder why Dean himself didn't go like pull him away or something like that. I get Dean doesn't want to go out of his box. He's been yelled at for that before, but it was weird. You saw Dean walk behind at one point. We can watch again. I disagree with Dean also, by the way, that this was not a foul, because I think it was a foul. I think that it's a soft foul, but it is a foul. And I don't understand really why he had to make such a big deal of this. Like, I get it. You don't like the call. There's so many things that happen. There's not an hour of a day that goes by that something doesn't happen that I disagree with, Johnny. In my job, in my life, in my family, it doesn't fucking matter. Like, there's a lot of shit that doesn't go my way. And I'm sorry, Wilf, it's not all going to go your way, so grow the fuck up and figure it out. That's all I got to say. I think the fans are sick of it. Like, Zaha's exhausting. Like, and so when Dean
Danny, like, I hear what you're saying, and you're not totally off, but the contract is like up in a month. The contract's up very soon. It's like I don't think anything is. I really don't think anything. Look at, who cares? He's leaving the club.
He's on his way out.
Like, he's like burning it down as he goes.
Yeah,
that's kind of where I'm at with it. It's like, if he's not going to re-sign, I don't think he cost us this match.
I do. I personally do, because we were winning the second half. We were establishing our will in the second half, and this threw everything off. And New England had like 3 shots like immediately after this. It was ridiculous.
I think the referee got it totally wrong. I think there should have been yellow cards brandished out to the New English manager, number 1.
I agree. I'm not saying that's not correct.
So fine. I think what ended up it was an unlucky penalty that kept Charlotte FC from getting 1 point in this match. That's my take. I'm not going to blame Wilf in this one. I'm just not. He had a poor match, but I'm not going to put it just on him. I think it comes down to you said it to start the show. and a lot of other people did too. And for what it's worth, I'm not sure I agree with the fact that they played the one of our soccer citizens, the guy that is running the Charlotte FC Reddit page.
Zach, yeah.
You bring his comment up, and it's like, oh, we played better than we did against this other team. And it's like,
no, he was.
I don't know. Like, did they? I don't know. Like, that's not the point. There's no moral victory to be taken out of it. And I think that's somebody we started the show with that kind of comment as well, Danny. So it is what it is at this point. Like, to blame it on Wilf, just to blame it on Wilf is I think a stretch in this situation.
No, I'm not doing it just to. Trust me, I'm not trying to blame it on Wilf. I'm just having an honest reaction.
Well, it's okay.
Just having an honest reaction.
Well, it's okay to pin it on Wilf because I think he's. But again, I'm not like debating the fact that his yellow cards are annoying and a little over the top, but the stats do back it up. Like when he says, "Oh, I'm the most fouled player in the MLS over the last year," it's like, well, like no, doesn't that make you think that like there's some frustration there that you could see this building? At least I'm not calling it an excuse, but you can understand why there's some frustration on the pitch. And you're the one that asked the question that ultimately is the reason why he's not resigning the contract.
Yeah. I think if he was going to resign, he would have resigned at this point. So we need to take a quick moment to acknowledge the live stream is on a pause. I leaned a little too hard into those highlights. I shouldn't have gone back for the second time around on the highlight. Unfortunately, we have been on a pause here. YouTube killed us, but they'll let us back. We know from experience they will let us back. I do apologize. Killing some time. It will come back up. I think you're right, Johnny. I think listen, I'll say while no one's watching that I do admit I'm being a little bit harsh. I can fully concede that Wilf Zaha is our best player, that I don't know how we would replace him. All right, we back. Good Lord, the passion was real. All right, Zaha's agents put in the request for a ban, and it has been rescinded, and we are so back. So let's give the last word on this discussion. Well, not the last word. Let's enter the final phase of this discussion. I'm giving you the last word, Johnny, because I've used way too many words tonight and way too much video, obviously. But let's let the captain speak, and then I'm going to have you give the definitive position of Soccer City on Wilf Zaha.
I love him. Listen, I'm the same. So when Wilf's like that, I've said it many, many times, you'd rather a player that cares, and he shows he cares, rather than a player that doesn't care for the team. It hurts him when we lose a game, even in the locker room after. He cares. So no, it's when Wilf's angry, it's a good thing because he'll then go and do something magic, and he wants the ball. So nice. Me and Wilf are very similar in that way. We can get very agitated.
If you could just start that over, right? Like think about how this. Like, listen to how this starts.
I love him.
Seemed pretty genuine.
That's what he said. But there was a key word in there. I think he talked about when Wilf's angry, right? When he's upset. He's got a short fuse. Like there's no doubt about it that he's got a short fuse, and it's been something that's been part of his career. And when we brought him on, we talked about Wilfried Zaha and the Wilfried Zaha experience, and that this is part of it. And I think Westy did a nice job of kind of addressing exactly what the situation is he really cares and he gets mad. And when he gets mad, it's because he's not performing well. The game's not going his way. He's getting fouled, and he's taking a lot of the air out of the room. That's real. That's a real thing. And I think the club is dealing with it. And I think there's a way where when Wilfried Zaha, there's a path, I should say, when Wilfried Zaha leaves the club eventually here this summer.
In 2 weeks.
that the team, that the club, like the players, some of them have a sigh of relief because they feel like there's a little bit of just pressure off them of making Wilf mad.
Yeah, I think you can both appreciate that he's here, understand he will be difficult to replace, and when the inevitable happens, view it as an opportunity. I think there's nothing wrong with that, for sure.
Zach's got a great question here. He says, "Do we actually trust our front office to sign a player greater than or equal to Zaha?"
No, not
It's
at
like
all.
it reminds me of like a good greater than or equal to question. Is this greater than or equal to that? I think the reason why it's a good question is because there's one player out there, Zach, that's been rumored to potentially sign, and it's Raheem Sterling, the England international. He's a winger. Is he a natural replacement for what Zaha does for Charlotte? Yes. I think that would be not greater than, but I think it would be equal to.
Yeah, I think the Sterling rumors have got major negative reaction from what I've seen in the fan base, but I actually am not that opposed to it. I think Sterling could probably do a bit of work here for sure. I'm not a huge fan of his, but I would try to become one if he was to be signed. Zach does not want Sterling, and he's a Chelsea fan, so he knows a thing or two about it for sure. So I don't know. I mean, there's a lot going on. Not only is Wilf potentially, at this point in my mind, he's pretty much already gone. I don't think he's extending. Let's say he may sign a brand new contract at the end of a long courtship window when no one else wants him, but I don't think he's going to extend without testing the market. Christian Stuyvesant, had the pleasure of seeing Christian at the Open Cup match against Atlanta, said a bought out too this summer. I think that's 100% happening, yes. Are we in a rebuild year? Is this a rebuild year for Charlotte? I think, John, we've exhausted most of the New England discussion, but there's a lot of big picture talk because this is our first episode in a couple weeks. I should note I was sick last week. We didn't get to do an episode, so it's so good to be back with y'all. And I think it's time to turn to a little bit of big picture talk and where we're at with this team, because we're about to finally hit a home stretch. We've been on a big road section of the campaign, and now the campaign moves back into a home situation. And where are you at with Charlotte in the East and how things are looking?
Don't really like the fact that the last 5 matches has 4 losses. I think I think right there we're failing. The experiment has totally failed. I think the reason why I'm upset is because we talked about drawing on the road. We talked about getting draws. Look at every other club around Charlotte there. Cincinnati, draw, 3 draws. DC United, 2 draws. Inter Miami, 3rd on the table, 2 draws in their last 5. These L's, these continual losing streaks without being able to draw is killing this club. It's pathetic, and we saw it again this past weekend. And that's the problem with this team. And even a team like Toronto, who is not good, doesn't even have a win. Draw keeping them afloat, just equal on points to Charlotte. You have to draw matches in this league, and until Charlotte can do that, they will never, ever be in the conversation for a real trophy.
Well, Johnny, it's a big reason why a huge theme of the season from the jump in year 5 of Charlotte FC was learn to love the draw. You established it when we did our campaign episode, and so far I would like to have the opportunity to learn to love the draw because I haven't even been able to see a draw to fall in love with. Yeah,
you can't draw when in your last 3 matches you've given up. I think it was 9 goals. How many? 10 goals? 11 goals?
Yeah, let's go back to the fixture. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 4, 5, 6, 7 to 11. Yeah, 11 goals in last 4 matches.
You can't draw doing that.
No.
And that's why I'm just like the defensive performance at New England. Everyone's like, "Oh, look at that defensive performance." I'm like, please do not be fooled. Look at the run of form that this team is on. They're giving up goal after goal after goal after goal right now. And the 6-1 win is a great point because that's if without the 6-1 win, you're talking about a goal differential, of -6.
We're probably the only team in any league in the world that has a 6-1 win on the book and a negative goal differential in the season. It's crazy. Yeah.
Only 11 games into the season.
Yeah.
So I'm not thrilled seeing the table. And to add on that, as we I think wrap tonight's show, thinking about where this team is, what the schedule looks like moving forward. The key here, Danny, is, and I mean this dead seriously, is like the season's ending after this run of games before the World Cup.
I'll go back to the fixtures here. Yeah. Whoops. Misclick. We got 4 home games until the World Cup.
It's that
Cincy,
simple.
New York City, Toronto, New England again.
And then look at the next match after May 23rd.
Yeah, it's in the end of July, the 26th of July. Yeah, yeah.
The 22nd of July, straight after the
Oh yes, 22nd. Excuse me. Sorry. Yeah.
the straight after the World Cup too. It's going to be the World Cup final is on the 19th, and then this Charlotte Atlanta derby at the Keep. Already lost a home match to Atlanta this year. Have to beat them at the Keep. That game's going to happen afterwards. But my point is think about the next 4 matches. I don't want to go hyperbolic here because it's just like it feels like prisoner of the moment, but it's really not. 4 home matches. Look at the table. What does 12 points get you? 12
Top
points
of the
gets
table.
you to 26 points.
Yeah.
Would be an incredible place to be. Then if you only draw 2 of those matches and then win the other 2, you're up to 22 points, which is still going to be a very, really, really strong place to be for this club. These next 4 matches, especially home, this club can beat Cincinnati. It can beat City. It can beat Toronto. It can beat New England at home. These 4 matches are the most important matches of the season. And we've got one question, and the question is this. Wilf, what are you going to do for us before the season's over? What are you going to do for us in these 4 matches? Are you going to bring this thing home, or are you going to limp into the World Cup with the Ivory Coast? This is it, man. These 4 matches are everything. Let's make it happen.
Well, you figure, I believe he's 3 yellow cards away from his second suspension of the season for accumulation. So let's say the next 3 matches, not necessarily the next 4 matches. But other than that, no, I would love to see Wilf at least leave a mark. I think his legacy kind of is to be defined here in these next 4 matches for Charlotte FC. I like to think we can beat Cincinnati. But if we can't, then who knows? It'd be bad. We had a commenter for Football Edits, one of our favorite commenters, who says we got to win 3 of the next 4. I agree, but
I think two of 4 is totally fine with 2 draws. Don't you understand that? I'm trying to tell you that 2 draws is okay with 2 wins. It's the losses that kill you. Just don't lose in this league.
Yeah.
It's that simple.
Right, especially not in extra time on the road to a BS penalty. Yeah, no doubt.
I'm sick of it. It's so easy. You don't lose in this league. You can draw. You can draw in this league, Danny.
You can draw your way to the fucking playoffs. It's been done numerous times for sure. But
I'm not saying that's the strategy. What I'm saying is that if you win 2 matches and draw 2 matches, that's pretty good. Keep on rolling. Don't lose.
Yeah. A draw and a loss with 2 wins does so much good, as Krim says. Like, I agree. It just getting those draws, like you show with Toronto's season is being kept afloat. We have to play Toronto. We better beat them. They're going to be trying to get a draw against us at our place. I guarantee it.
So this is the energy that you're feeling right now. I want this to kind of permeate. I want people to understand that this is what's happening right now.
Right.
Is that we're going to get? It's been what did you say? It's been a crazy spring. Mm-hmm. It's been crazy. It's been busy, especially
fixture
the last
congestion. Just.
Crunched in there, match after match, midweek, week, and has this club managed it well? No. Definitive answer: it's a results business.
Correct.
We showed you what the last 5 results look like.
D-, I would say.
And that's including getting knocked out at the U.S. Open Cup.
Oh well, yeah, that's the minus. Yeah, yeah. To your rival.
Yes. Yes. In Matthews.
And pretending it didn't even fucking matter. Yeah.
Yeah. That was a tough one.
Yeah. But it's the first semester, Johnny. It's the first semester. We got a little bit of a break.
The energy.
We got to finish strong.
Yes, the energy should be like, hey, we're season ticket holders. We love the club. We want to go see the matches. They're playing on Saturday nights. Let's go and hang out and have a good time at the Keep for the next month until the World Cup. And then it's going to be like, boom, the World Cup's here, and it's going to be the summer of soccer. It's why this is a soccer city. I think we can all rally around the fact that we've limped into the situation. It would have been really nice if the Crown gave us a reason, Danny, to be excited right now, hopeful, top of the table. Instead, they've fallen down to 7th, which is still in a playoff position. But the club's going to have to kind of earn the momentum back with these wins at home. And I think you can look around and see the fan base and say, Danny, this is what we want to do, right? This is exactly what we want. This is why the club is here in town. It's because we want to enjoy it. We're going to spend Saturday nights in Uptown. We're going to go to Mint Street. We're going to meet our friends, have a great time. And that's what the club brings to this city as well, right? So we can talk about all the negative things. We can talk about the haters. We can talk about the players. We can talk about the managerial staff. We can talk about all of those things. But when I look at the schedule, I see these 4 matches at home. I'm saying, yeah, this is what we signed up for.
Yeah. The way I view it, Johnny, is that we had a chance to put ourselves amongst the elite and we failed. And now we're in the middle.
No, that's been the constant theme throughout the entirety of this project. And that's okay. But you said it as bluntly as possible.
Yeah, and so now the mission's not over. As what I was talking offline, it's not a comment on this stream, but this is our buddy Zach, who's been probably the commenting MVP of this episode. He said, we went 1-9 last year and still finished top 4. And I said, yes, that's true, but it took a league record winning streak to reverse the results of that 1-9 stretch, to get us there. So unless we plan on breaking that record yet again, which you can't really count on. So I don't think I'm overreacting, but I don't like the apologies that are made for Zaha's behavior, because I just find Zaha's behavior exceptionally childish at this point. And I'm 47 years old, Johnny, and Wilfried Zaha is like 32, so I've got a few years on him. But I guarantee you, when I was 32, I didn't act as much of a child as he does. So it's just the fact of the matter. I have to call it what it is. I get he's going to call it passionate. I'm going to call it childish, and we can agree to disagree. But the way that this team is playing, if they were top of the league and he's doing that, winning does solve a lot of problems. The fact that his attitude and behavior is a problem because it's resulting in a mediocre team. If the team is elite and guys are acting out, I don't give a fuck. I'll just tell you, that's how it is. Like, winning solves all the problems. So either go win or fucking tighten up your attitude and figure it out one way or the other, and come resign with us, baby, because we got the best thing going on. Let's go.
If I'm being honest, like if I'm Zaha and I see that, like, I'm not resigning. Why would I resign after hearing, like, you guys are just not vibing. Like, the vibe is off. The vibe is off. Right? That's how I'm feeling. The
vibe is all right. Well, then say la vie.
Yeah, the vibe is off for sure. It's he's a player.
Well, this is the match that did it. The vibe was okay until this. Yeah.
Yeah, I've enjoyed the experience. I think the experience has been fun. I think he's taken me on a ride that not many players can. And he's certainly a unique individual. He's a one-of-one player, and we'll see what he does in these next 4 matches, Danny. But it's like if you've been watching the episode, you can go back. There's like little points within the episode you can pick. It's like a diss track. Danny jumps back, Wilf here. Then he makes sure he gets Wilf again there. Then he makes sure that he finishes the job at the end of the episode.
Hey, come on the show, Wilf. I'll fucking say it to your face. I'm not afraid. I'm not trying to hide. I mean, this is what I think.
It's been a fun evening, Danny. Talking about Charlotte FC's star player. And what the future looks like for this club. And I think that the analysis, like, there's some analysis in there as well. So I think emotion is important. I think being a supporter is important. But the real analysis is, what does the yellow card accumulation actually look like in the next 3 matches? Like, is that real? That he could possibly be suspended again?
He's had 2 since he came back from suspension, right?
Yes. Is it 5 yellow cards?
Yeah.
5 cards?
5 is a suspension. He's sitting on 2. He could easily get 3 in the next 3. I wouldn't put it past him.
That's good analysis. Like, that's real. Like, that's a real problem. So keep an eye on that. If he misses another match, then that's really the cherry on top of what I would say was a great stay. Well, I appreciate everybody hanging out with us on Soccer City this evening. It's a Monday night episode. It's 10 o'clock. It's officially an After Dark episode, which is great. It's nice to be live streaming it at 10 o'clock this evening, almost early morning in the UK. But you go even further east to where Charlotte, Zoran's got whose name hasn't been mentioned on tonight's show.
Oh, that's next episode. Trust me.
Zoran's got contacts in the mornings right now. So if you're watching us early morning, just know we're thinking about Zoran getting out there and getting some deals done.
Yeah.
It's that time of night, Danny, and it's been a pleasure hanging out with you.
I got one thing to say.
It'd be great if performances just went like that, and it never does. There's always, there's always a little downturn somewhere, and you have to ride them waves and
Got to ride the waves, and that's what we're going to be doing. We got a swell. Did you hear about that swell off the North Shore, Danny? It's rolling in. Let's grab our boards. Let's go up to Mint Street. Let's go to the Keep.
I see the vision. I'm loving it. I'll bring the wine.
Yeah, you bring the wine. Cheers to you. And my favorite part about that is that it's got your name on it.
Yeah, this is because I went to Wine and Design on East Boulevard up in Dilworth. I went to Wine and Design, brought my own bottle, and they got to write your name on it so no one steals your shit.
There you go.
I'll show you the painting I made next time. It's pretty piss poor, but I will bring it. I'll bring it to the class to show.
Thanks everybody for hanging out this evening. Thanks to you, Danny, for putting together a great show, bringing these clips, bringing the analysis, having some real talk, having some fun talk, having some rants. I think there was everything in this show, having some great comments as well. I'll look forward to seeing you this weekend.
Wilf, are you okay? Are you okay? Are you okay, Wilf? Are you okay?
It's a great hat. It's a phenomenal hat. It's a phenomenal hat. And as always, Danny, let's just leave it. Let's leave the people with this. For the crown, baby.
For the crown, baby.